All right, everybody, welcome back to chapter 3, week 4, chapter 3. This week, there's a few things we're going to add a little bit to your HTML. Hopefully, nobody had any issues with last week's assignment, just doing HTML, and we're going to add some JavaScript and make it do some stuff. If you follow along, you're going to read chapter 3 in the book and follow along, create the duration calendar with the Cengage video. That's some good practice. All you got to turn in self-test exercises, do the quiz, and your programming exercise, where we will create an application that converts liters to gallons, or gallons to liters, one or the other. I've given you this folder structure right here. So the book talks about jQuery, and we're going to use that as well. Now, jQuery is just a JavaScript library. So if you were in my Python class, you remember we use different libraries sometimes, and we imported them into our project. And it's like pre-written code, so you don't have to write it. jQuery, React, Angular, if you've ever heard those terms, Backbone. You look at a lot of job applications, they're like, oh, we want you proficient in Angular. It's just JavaScript. It's a JavaScript library. You'll give them IDs and stuff that are specific to that library, and then it will format it for you. We'll cover all that, how it works, this week. With the recent advances and everything, I'm not sure that any of those libraries are really necessary anymore. You can create your own stuff real easy. So we're going to use it, and I don't know how much we're going to use it moving forward, but I definitely want to make sure that you are familiar with it. I put this file here so that you can download a file structure. And when you download it, it's a zip file. Inside it is chapter 3 project files folder. And that is a CSS and a JavaScript folder. Now, in each of these, the CSS, there's a jQuery file. And then the JavaScript, there are two jQuery and jQuery mobile files. And that's what we're going to use for this project. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I'm going to show you how it works in this video. So that's that. So we will start off in this thing, Visual Studio Code, and I'm just going to open that folder. It makes life easy for me to keep things as organized as possible because I have so much stuff. For chapter 3 lesson. Okay. So it's just that same folder structure that I just showed you. I've got the two folders with the jQuery stuff in there, and the rest of it is empty. So for this project, let me pull up Cengage. All right, here in Cengage, chapter 3 programming exercises, we're going to create this fluid calculator. I'm going to enter quantity in gallons, and we're going to convert it to liters. I think. Yeah, gallons to liters. So we need to make the interface look just like this using jQuery. And then you can see there's two pages here. You got information and interface. The information page looks like this. The interface page looks like this. You've got a slider, little input, and display button. So let's make that. Create a new file, and we'll call it info. And then we need our doc type. I should have. Doc type, and then we want our HTML. Body. It is not giving me all the extra cool stuff I was doing last time. So I don't know why it sometimes will do like this and tell you, hey, you may want to put this in here. And sometimes it won't. So we're going to do chapter 3. That is our CSS. We're going to do have our meta in there, right? Char set, viewport. There we go. Put a description in there if you want to, sure. Do our CSS. That's our CSS. And here we want to make sure that we link the JavaScript or the jQuery as well. I'm going to put it on top. Actually, let's just get rid of this. I'm just going to use strictly jQuery right here. And JavaScript. This is just for me. I like to do this. It keeps it neat, but so this is 11.3. We're using 11. Make sure the names match, right? So when you're calling this script in, it should be jQuery 111.1 min.js. And jQuery mobile 145 min.js. Now there are newer versions out there. Some work or some seem to not work and the others do. So I know these work, so I'm going to use these. And we will need our own JavaScript for this. It's not convert. Although that's a good name. I love how this is kind of, we're converting liters to gallons, so it says this thing's smarter than we are now. It's crazy, because I was just going to name it chapter 3.js, but it knows we're converting because of the fluid converter. It's getting a little creepy if you ask me. All right, so in our body, when you're using jQuery and you create a div, you give it a data role. And this one we're going to call page. So that should be the whole page, right? We're going to have the whole page. And then we want to have a nav bar on there, right? We'll call it nav bar. And in our nav bar, we'll put unordered list with the information and interface. Oh, that needs to be a list item. Nope. So when you want to make a nav, you want to put what they call an anchor point in there, and that anchor point will point to a file. It's been a little while since I've done it like this. But what this essentially does right here, the A is anchor, and we keep the text within the anchor. Oh, you guys can't see any of this, I'm sorry. My apologies. I didn't have it where you could see what was going on. Um, so, you will use, this is how you do it in HTML. So these A's are anchor tags, and you reference an HTML file that you can link to. So when you're looking at the page, you click on a link, it takes you to the other page. This is how you would do it in HTML. What we're going to do is the JavaScript version. Well, maybe I should show you how this works first. So we're going to run out of screen real estate again here in just a second, but let's create another file. And let's see. Oops. Let's see. Copy and paste everything over there. Change the title to interface. We want the same stuff in the head and the same nav bar. So how do we know what page we're on? Let's just do this. This is the interface page. Okay, awesome. And this is the info page. Save all that. I am going to open with 5 server. So that pops up. And this is the info page. Let me do. All right, so we have 2 buttons up here, and this is the information page, right? We click on it, it's the info page. So you can see it's already blue. That's something that jQuery did for us. If I click on interface, it takes us to the interface page. So that is how you link something. You can link something from top and the bottom. Like if you put an anchor at the top of the page and link it to the bottom of the page, you can just do that, or you can link from page to page. That's an anchor tag. What we are going to do, what we're going to do is the JavaScript way. We are going to leave an anchor in there, but instead we are going to make an on-click event, and we're going to name it info and put 2 parentheses. So some of you may recognize this as a function. We'll write a function in our JavaScript that will navigate us to the other page. I guess we can do that now. Chapter 3, JavaScript. I guess this is your first introduction to JavaScript, so this is how you do a function. You just say function and you give it the name. You can see how the IDE makes the word function, because it's a keyword, makes it blue. The function name is in yellow. And when we just want to navigate, we're just going to tell it to go which window to go to. LOC location. Okay, easy enough. This is how you do it in JavaScript. Save all. Let's see if it works. go. I think it okay, information. Oh, it already taking us to the information page. So when you're on the interface page, you click it, it takes you to the info page. So they both work. One is right now JavaScript and one is just pure HTML. Since this is a JavaScript class, we're just going to continue doing JavaScript stuff just for your own information. That's how you do it in HTML if you don't know already. And we'll call this one interface. And then in our JavaScript, we'll do the same thing. And just call it interface. Interface. All right, so you got two functions in JavaScript, and they move you back and forth in your browser from one page to the next. Super awesome. And so we also set up a nav bar, right? Man, I'm gonna have to fix this because I can't keep finding this page. Turn it on. Get rid of that. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Now I can also zoom in. Just a little smaller. No, it won't. I like having this open, but I'm gonna close it just so you guys can see what I am doing. So we have our, I've got too much stuff open. It's like in my brain, too many tabs open, right? We've got our interface and our information. This little nav bar is what we got going on right here. Now we just need a little bit of content in the info page, and we'll be done with that. I give this an ID of content also, so that we can style it later should we decide to. It's I'm just hitting enter, and this is what AI is putting in here for the program itself. Value a fluid. Add a paragraph, unordered list. Metric system uses units as leaders. Awesome. So there's a formula for converting gallons to liters. Gallons divided by 3.789. And let's see, and content, and the body, and the HTML. And that is the whole page so far for the first page, the information page. Now we need to go to the interface and put some stuff on there. All right, we've got our nav, list items, anchors. This ends the nav bar, and this is where I'm going to put the content. I'm going to make the same div. And give it the same ID so that when I style them, they will be styled the same. Let's see an end there. All right. So we're going to put we're going to do a range, I think, at this point. Well, first let's do a label. We're going to make a range, and we're going to call it gallon. So you have to create a label for that. I'll show you. Yeah. So this is going to be kind of on the page where you see enter the quality in gallons. And then we're actually going to create the input. We'll call it a type, and we're going to do a range. We're going to name it gallon because that's what we just created the All right, so we created a range, which is a slider. Save this. So now you can see it. The range is a slider. We named it gallon, and the label is for gallon here. So label is for this input. We gave it an ID of gallon, a value of 0 with a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 100. And it should step in 1 increment. So as you slide it, it should go up by 1, depending on how fast you move it, obviously. So back and forth, it looks really cool. It's got like blue glow on it. You can see all this stuff. This is all jQuery. So it's nice. Matter of fact, let's take out, where's my mouse? Let's take out the jQuery real quick and see what changes. If I take out the JavaScript, it gets really ugly. So there's a lot of styling and functionality in the JavaScript. And if I also take out the CSS, doesn't seem like the CSS is doing too much right here. Oh, I only took it out of the interface page, but so this is what it would look like without jQuery. You can do your own styling, of course, but this is what jQuery does for us. So we don't have to think about it. And there again, makes it pretty. All right, so we got our thing on there, our slider. We are going to put in a little break here, a BR break. Scroll down. I'm going to add a button. I don't think we did that last week either. Button. And this is going to have an on-click event as well. And this one I'll just call, we can call it convert, or I'm going to call it display. And I'm going to change that text to display. You can leave it as convert if you like. I don't know. Yours may be different than mine. I'm really interested to see if it the suggestions I'm getting are the same ones that you're getting in your program. As you can see, when I saved it, we got a button here, and when you click it, it doesn't do anything right now because we haven't written the we haven't written the function yet. So when the button's clicked, I want it to display the result of the math. And we're going to put that in a little table, little break, create a table, LE. Let me give it an ID. Let's call it data. And in the table, I guess it's going to have just one row, right? Table data, I'm going to say T entered. And then I'm going to create another table D, give it an ID of quantity, quantity display. And right now it will be set to 0. Table row, body. There, and I save it. And now we have on the page a quantity entered here. This is a table and this 0. We're going to change that when we do some math here. So this is just a page with no functionality in it. That's cool too. You type in it and it will move the bar as well. Again, jQuery did that for us. Isn't that cool? All right, so we have 2 functions right now. We need to do a couple of more functions, right? Maybe just one. We're going to do display. So we're going to create a variable by declaring a variable. We start with var. We'll call it gallon. And that's going to be equal to document get element by ID gallon.value. So what this does, this is JavaScript. It's going to look at the document. It's going to find the element with the ID of gallon, right? So where we name it gallon, the name right here, or the ID, sorry. The ID is what it's looking for. So it's going to find this range element. And then it's going to get the value from that element. So if you put in 5, when you click the button, it reaches out to the document. It says, okay, there's a 5 here. What do I do now? So what we're going to do now, get element by ID. And we want to get that quantity display. So what this says, again, it's going to reach out to the document and find the element with the ID of quantity display. Now, if you remember, that is this table data right here. Right now, it just is set to 0, and you can see that on the page. It's just set to 0. The inner HTML is the 0 right there. So you can see that it's inside these brackets, right? It's not this is kind of like, you don't even see this table data ID in the thing. You just see the box, right? And inside that box is the inner HTML, or the HTML within that box. Right now it's just 0. Oop. So we're going to grab that and we're going to make it equal to the gallon. So if it's 5 there, we're going to put 5 down here because it's quantity entered. But then we want to add a little bit more. We want to do that calculation, right? And we're going to add a space here because this is going to concatenate or just push it all together. And then we'll say gallons equals plus our gallon divided by 3.789. And well, let's do this real quick. Let's save it. We'll go over here and we'll put in 5 and we'll hit display. And it gives us, okay, we entered 5 gallons is equal to that many liters. I don't really want to know 0.0 out to too many decimal places. So we'll do to 2 decimal places. And to do that, use the 2 fixed. Oops, 2 fixed. And however many decimal places you want after the decimal, right? So to fix 2 will be 2 decimal places, and you can't see that. There we go. So to gallons to fixed, our mathematical equation here, the result of this math out to 2 decimal points, and then I'm going to add just the text liters. Put a period on that. And when I do this, we should get a different output here. So if I put 5 now, hit display, it says 5 gallons is equal to 1.32 liters. Pretty simple, right? And that's it. That's your project for the week. It's boring. It's boring, but this is your project for the week. A couple other things that you can do with jQuery, or one thing you can do with jQuery, I don't know. If you use classes, it will style it differently. There's a whole button, a whole bunch of classes, but this class here changes the color. It tells you, well, it tells the browser this is the active page, and we want the tab of the page that you're on to be different, to know, okay, I'm on the information page, not the interface page, because the information page is blue. So if you want to do that class on the info, and then again, when you are on the interface page, that's something that jQuery does for you. And this is okay if you want to do that. Let's check our live view and see what it looks like on a phone. First page looks pretty good. Second page looks pretty good. I mean, we may want to bump it down some. So, did we create a CSS? We did not. So if you're just doing jQuery and you're not doing any CSS, this is what it looks like. So that's if you turn it in that way, that's fine. If you want to spice it up, you don't have to use jQuery at all. Get rid of my jQuery. I am going to use my own forget how it goes. Text something or another. Where am I at? Yeah, type text CSS. Okay. I'm going to use create my own CSS. Okay, so I took the jQuery off, and now you can see on the mobile it's black, but in the browser it's white. That's something else I've noticed. Empty space in a browser is white generally. Empty space on the phone tends to be black. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but let me just do this so that I don't make this video any longer than it has to be. I've already done the CSS, so that looks much nicer on the phone and in the browser. So you can do your own stuff. Now you can see that the I lost, when I got rid of jQuery, I lost that little input box. So I actually have to go back into the interface page and add a number input. And I'll give it an ID of min max value. That works, I think. So when I save that, now I have my little input back here. And as I move it, oops, it's not doing nothing. I have to add that functionality in because I stopped using jQuery. So gotta get the element by ID. Hold on, we got to add an event listener. So these are great when you want to you want the page to wait for something to happen. You can add an event listener, and what this is going to do is listen, really. So I'm going to do two variables, two constant variables. So a constant variable, you instead of var, you use constant. And we're going to do range input equals document get element by ID, and that's the gallon. So again, the range input variable, constant variable range input, is going to be equal to the document get element ID of gallon. So again, it's going to go out to the page, find the ID of gallon, and whatever that value is going to be saved in this variable. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'll do another one. The text input. Nope, not this one. It's going to be gallon. Gallon value. So this is our slider, our range, and this is our number input type that I just added, right? Let me do this because I hate red marks. Okay. Does that need a thing? It does need two more things. All right, so range input, add event listener input function. Yep, that's right. Thing 6 value. We don't need this display. So again, we're going to add an event listener to the input, the range input. And when it does that, it's going to change the text input value. So if you're following, every time you change the ranged input, it's going to change the text input. If I save this here and go back and I grab the slider, oh, see, it went to 1. Now it changes. This is what we just did. So as we change the value of the slider, this function changes the value of that text, so they match. Also, we want to be able to do the difference. When you type 50 in here, we want this to jump to 50, right? So we want them to change each other. So we're going to do that as well. Text input, add event listener input function. So it's just the same thing, but in reverse. And I love the fact that this knows me so well. It just does it. Close up, if you can't see. And then everything's saved. Go back over to our thing. And as I move the slider, the value moves. And as I type in here, slider moves. So I did the cool CSS all on my own without JavaScript. Personally, I like it better, but if you turn it in with just using jQuery, that's really what the assignment is. And if let's see, slim browser, okay. So my one on the phone looks exactly like the one in the browser. And remember, in your CSS, if you use those media tags, I just changed the font size because everything else was pretty consistent. So everything works on the phone as well as on the browser. So I know to do good. Anyway, if you have any questions about any of that, please send me an email. Thanks.